A little box jumps up on your screen. You have to click the word "Got it," and that'll clear out of the way. And then these recordings are available through the PD Active newsletter under my little blurb section. There's usually a word you can click, and it connects you so you can study these during the week. So that's also the purpose of what we'll do is daily practice. So we begin sitting in a chair, scooted to the front edge of that chair, hands resting on your thighs, and right away we start cultivating the underlying principles. Zhongjung means central upright. So if our posture is collapsed and out of position, the first thing we got to do is correct that. So usually we need to sort of lift the chest slightly, drop the chin slightly, and find this central pillar that runs right through us. Once we have that alignment, then we practice the next and very important and sounds easier than it is principle called Chun One, which means softening and relaxing everything as your means of finding the ground or finding stability. So a lot of times we're looking for stability and good posture by holding up our body. But just as you see me do this, I show you I'm kind of narrowing and tightening and constricting. So I'm exaggerating what we're all doing on a subtle level. We're all kind of pulling in and pulling up and holding on. And so this principle of melting that out of the system, it's very sort of essential in Taoist practice, this recognition that like, okay, likely, and especially with Parkinson's, you are holding places that you're not even aware you're holding. So you just take as an assumption, you can relax more, and then you can still relax more and more and more. And there's layers and layers of loosening up that become available to us. So when you're doing your home practice, just the simplest upright posture, and then thinking, oh yeah, relax. And to help us relax, the breathing is useful. So in through the nose, hold full, out through the mouth, kind of like a sigh, like a release. All the way out, hold empty, and then inhale. Hold full. And then when you're ready, you exhale. Empty. Let's do this 12 breaths. So each inhale is almost a stretching open, like a balloon filling up a little more. And then every exhale is an opportunity to melt, to dissolve some extra gripping, holding, and tension. And we just do this round by round, and this is your meditation practice. But it's not just sitting here trying to be peaceful in the mind, right? Because that doesn't really work. But what does work is attend to your structure, let the mind, give the mind something to aim at, something to organize around, which is this 4-part breathing of inhaling, watching it the whole way, holding during the fullness where you saturate the system and nourish, and then exhaling as you melt all that tension out and you're getting rid of some waste. And then when you hold empty, your body gets some time to really absorb from the bloodstream the oxygen and nourishment there. And then you inhale again when you're ready. You hold. And you exhale when you're ready. Hold. Let's do a few more of these. to the best of your ability, you let your nerves, that's a big piece with Parkinson's, right? It's sort of the nervous system that's activated. And so can you train yourself from the master commander in the mind to tell the nervous system to stay down regulated, to not get agitated, but to stay in this state of ease. And the beautiful thing about Tai Chi movement, what we practice, is that you actually can move the body quite efficiently in a totally relaxed, melted state. Whereas we normally think we got to tense up and then move. Instead, by being very relaxed, we can kind of move more like an octopus, more like this hydraulic liquid quality is what we end up training here. So, keeping this relaxation, we start with some simple movements. Slide the hands back, the elbows back, shoulder blades back. Lift your chest up, lift your chin up, and create a little gentle back bend. So this is spinal extension. And then slide your hands forward, hollow the chest back, drop your head, and round. Spinal flexion. Do it again. Slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, arch the back, look to the ceiling, and then slide your hands forward, chest empties, front of the body hollows, back opens. Two more, inhaling as you arch, spinal extension, elbows back, shoulder blades back, look up. Exhale as you slide hands forward. Remember, soft. Just soft and softer. Softer and softer with every round. So what you're training is ease. You're not training more effort, more doing. You're doing this sort of subtle change in perspective of, hey, I can be relaxed and this body moves quite well. In fact, in a superior way when you train it. Let's come back to the middle here and we'll go left hand forward, right hand back, elbow back, and turn the shoulders and head to the right as if you're trying to look behind you. And then switch. Turn to the other side. Right hand forward, left hand and elbow back, turn. And then turn again. So just keep doing that, turning side to side. Fewer repetitions done with emphasis on soft, on relaxed, on easy. Just this melting, sliding, gliding. Easing your way through movement. Last one to your left. Come back to the middle. Stay in the middle. Hang the arms loosely alongside you. And then lean to your right. So notice the head is dropping. The spinal column is sort of making a little C-shaped curve. And then we come back to middle. And then we side lean the other way. Alex, you got unmuted somehow. I'm going to mute you. There you go. Oh, and Radhika, you're unmuted as well. Sorry. Okay. Now, what we add to this side lean is as you lean to your right, lift your left wrist right in front of you. And again, notice how close it is to the body. And notice I didn't go up the outside way. I just drew it up like this, just right up through that little path. So lean, and then also let your left foot be empty. So you're kind of dangling over the edge of your chair, just kind of challenging your ability to stay relaxed at that edge. And then we change sides, where left arm goes down, right wrist comes up, and you just lean softly. Let the whole body be loose. And then come back. One more each way. Lean. And one more time, lean. And then we're back to middle. Now, very important piece here, understanding the anatomy. Chest, arm, shoulder blade. This whole region, you can think of it as one area that for many people is stuck. And so then when we walk, it's kind of like you're carrying around weight here. So what we need is a looseness in this region. So hang your arms down by your side. First movement is shrug shoulders straight up. So get them as high as they can go and just hold them there for a moment. And then melt and release them all the way down. And for most people, they spend their time somewhere above zero. So if the bottom here is zero, everyone's holding somewhere along this level. And a lot of times people are holding their right shoulder a little higher than their left shoulder, and they've just gotten accustomed to this, right? So what we're doing here is cleaning that out. Go all the way to the top, mark the top, and then all the way melting to the bottom, mark the bottom. And then all the way to the top, mark the top. And then all the way to the bottom, mark the bottom. Now the shoulder blades and arm to chest, they also move forward and neutral and back. The shoulder blades squeeze back and neutral. So now we put that together with the forward and back, or the up and down. So forward, up, back while still up, and then stay back as you slide down. And the most important part of this exercise is right here, neutral, letting go. From that let go quality, forward, up, over top, squeeze shoulder blades back, keep them back as they slide down. And then remember, the most important part is neutral, letting go. And then we go forward, up, over top, back, down, under. Find the neutral. Eventually, you don't stop at the neutral. You just flow right through it. But too often what happens is we do an exercise and then we stay tense the whole time. So we're remembering that we go all the way through this movement and that we release the body so it's hanging loose. Again, forward, up, over top, back, slide down the back, under. Let's do two more in this direction. So it's forward, up, back, down, under, forward, up, over top, back, down. Now, reverse, go back, up, over top, forward, down, under, back, up, over, down, under, back, stay back while you lift. Stay lifted while you come forward, stay forward while they come under. And again, what's really important is a lot of times when we're doing this too, people are moving this way. When I say forward, we're just doing this. So notice when I come forward with my shoulders, what happens is this area actually goes back. And then when my shoulders go back, what happens in the chest is it has to come forward a little. And then back a little. Back, up, over, down. All right. Bend your elbows. Elbows flare out to the side and up. Elbows down, around in front, touch the elbows together, gently squeeze. Down. Out and up. Down. Round in front, squeeze. Down. One more. Now, elbows back, back, down, forward, up. This might not be available for some of you. Over time, it usually opens up. Forward, down, back. Down, forward, up. Down, forward, up. Forward, down, back. One more time. Eventually, all these movements, once you kind of learn the choreography of them, then you start to practice flow. So you practice staying super relaxed while moving through these ranges. Now, elbows out, palms facing the floor, left hand high, right hand low. Cross, and then hug your own body. And then release that hug, open. Then right hand high, left hand low, cross, hug. And then open, cross, open, and then one more. Open. And then elbows down, arms down, loose, relax. Now scoot back a little bit in your chair so you're very stable. Lift the right knee up and pull the right heel sort of in. So you're loading your leg and then push all the way straight till the leg is completely straight. And then reload it and then set the foot down. Switch legs. Load it. So this is called chambering. And then pushing. Rechambering. Down. Again. Chamber. Push. Chamber. Down. Smooth. Always think smooth. 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 Down. So we're polishing. It's kind of like the nerve pathways and movement pathways are like roads, and the roads can be sort of rough and there can be potholes in them. But now as we move slow, smooth, conscious through the path, we're kind of polishing the road, putting a nice smooth quality so that we can travel those roads, travel these pathways. Now, right leg straight, hold it there, point your right foot, flex your right foot. Point, flex, point, flex. And now, a little tilt of the foot in, tilt of the foot out. It's called inversion, eversion, tilt, tilt. Then circle, in, around, and out. Circle. And then let's circle the other way. Circle. And down. So these are those ABCs of movement. Brain-body relationships that we have to make sure we upkeep. Straighten your left leg. Point, flex. Point, flex. Point, flex. Point, flex. Now a little tilt in, tilt out. Tilt, inversion, tilt. And notice my leg isn't turning at all. It's just the foot. Just the foot. Tilting, tilting. Now we circle. In, around, out. And then we go the other way. Out, around, and in. And then pause. Put that foot down. Scoot forward all the way to the front edge of your chair. From here, step the feet a little wider apart than hip distance. You got a little extra room. Lift the toes off the ground. The heels stay on the ground, turning on the heels. Knees in, toes in, groin area closed, kind of pinched closed. And then lift your toes and turn toes and knees out. Feel that same area, the groin area known as the quad in Tai Chi. Open. Now we close in. And then we open. we close. So the pelvis, spinal column, rib cage, shoulders, head, all of that is staying pretty much floating there, and we're cultivating space, mobility in this relationship where the legs plug in to the hips. And then come back to neutral, legs at hip distance. Now from that same space, we fold, hip hinge, and then sit upright and lean a little bit back from the hips. So again, what a lot of times happens is this area is stuck, and so then when we fold forward, we're rounding and leaning forward rather than hinging at the hips and opening up this whole back area, right? So folding, and then sitting vertical, and then leaning back a little, vertical, forward, vertical, back. One more. Back. Now, hang your arms. Remember, we have loose arms now because we moved the shoulder blades. We did all these movements so that the arms can feel a little less held and a little longer and looser. Now, float the arms up in front of you, and then just drop them and swing them and back up. Drop them and swing them, back up. Drop, swing, up. Swing, up. So it's this letting go rather than holding and moving. So this is me holding my arms and moving them, which is very different than dropping. Dropping. And so this feeling is something we want to get good at with the body, realizing we don't have to cling to it to function correctly. In fact, we're getting in our own way when we're grabbing our body. So we're getting these opportunities to go, oh yeah, my arms don't fall off when I let them go, right? Now, bring just your right arm forward and your left arm a little bit back, and then switch, and then switch. Loose. And let this movement slightly turn you. Feel how when you do it, when you let the arms go, when you swing them, there's a little rotation that happens naturally. So that's your middle pivot that we're finding there. And you want to key in on this idea that, like, okay, I have a middle pivot that I can control this body from only if I'm very relaxed, loose, and open. And then relax. Keep that looseness. With your legs, fast feet. So patter, 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 patter. Notice that the chair is holding you up. So this chair is how I'm connecting down to the ground. Pause. Slide your feet back a little bit. Now, loose arms. Fold at the hips, just like we did. Folding. Now, here's the ankle. Arms, shoulders, and head in front of the ankle, butt behind the ankle. So here's my middle. The butt is on one side, head and shoulders and arms on the other, and I'm not in my chair anymore. So try to get here and then just push through the earth and find that vertical line. And again, can you stay relaxed, stay loose? Then to sit down, we recreate that. So the first thing that has to happen is the butt has to go back, and we got to let these arms hang. Then folding at that hip crease, sinking, finding the chair with your buttocks, and then leaning back. And again, noticing, okay, the feet are no longer weight bearing. But as you fold, you pour the body weight out of the chair and rise up. You could not do that same pitter patter now because your body weight is plugging to the earth using the feet. And then we fold and sink, land. Let's do that one more time. Soft, So again, we're using soft power. Notice we don't have to oomph it and force it. We can melt, pour the weight out of the chair, rise up. So we just did something that requires power, requires strength, but we didn't have to use force and sort of clumsy the heaving of the body, right? So now, same thing, but now let's not sit in the chair. Just fold, sink down, and hang your hands down near your toes. Maybe you can even touch the toes or even touch the floor, and then push through the earth and come all the way back to standing. So we call this the Tai Chi squat, right? Where what we're doing here is softening everything and letting all the parts fold and glide and slide. So we don't sit in the chair, we just sink down and then push up. Do it again. Sinking and rising. And then stay standing. From here, we're going to go into our Tai Chi practice. So we've got our Tai Chi standing position, and one of the things that people do normally when standing up is lock the knees back. So let's all do the wrong thing so that we can feel it. So lock your knees, push them back. Notice how that kind of takes your tail and pokes it up and back a little bit, and it jams the lower back. So this is one of the common mistakes people make. They lock the legs and then they think they've got stability, but really they've got impingement at the back and at the knee joint, and they're not training the correct muscle groups. So now unlock the knees. Unlock your knees. Lock them again, and then unlock. So it's just a basic change of way of thinking. Instead of thinking my stability comes from stilts and firming everything, in fact, it's the opposite. Soften and open. And then what you find now, you see this sort of bouncy quality, this buoyant quality. That is what we want from our legs. So now, again, we're not punching the knees and bending them. We're just opening them and letting them be bendable. Bendable, right? So here we are, standing. And then also in the arms, we're not grabbing our arms, we're relaxed, we're loose, released. So now our first movement, the rising hands. So we go forward and up, and notice the wrists. Wrists are relaxed. Then, as the elbows sink, notice that little change there. So again, we're not just going down in the same shape. We come up, and there's like a water flow out to the fingertips. So now the hands are in this position as they come down and a little bit behind. And then there's a little change. So again, the wrists lead. You see that little change floating up. And then that little change sweeping down. All the way behind. Change floating up, kind of like you're painting the wall with the back of the hand, and then the hands change, and it's like you're painting with the fingertips. This is just a basic understanding of using the arms more like tentacles, more like octopus tentacles, rather than like stiff, hard, gripped, active, right? We're doing all this extra when we relax, and then we just say, okay, rise. Sink. So we're looking for ease. We're looking for the float and float. Now hands come down, scoop in front, low cradle, open. The crane opens its wings. Then there's that little change. Then there's the sweep down. And then that little change. So we're in this round quality, open. Then that little change, wings, down, and then open. Wrists are relaxed. And then that chain. Sweep down. Remember this term polishing. Just keep that in mind. That each round, if you do it smooth, gentle, soft, what you're doing is polishing the path so that it's easier the next time. Now, wings. Pause here, turn your palms up. So call that roll, right? We're rolling the palms up. Now, just at the elbow joint, fold, a sort of gathering gesture. Hands fall down, 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 down. Release them completely. Wings, roll, fold, down. Release them completely. Keep them even more relaxed as you just open, roll, fold over top, sink. Soft, 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 all the way soft. Totally relaxed. Even more relaxed. Roll, fold. So we're just looking for ease. And then a complementary movement to that one. Bring the backs of the hands towards each other. So you're internally rotated. Keep the hands close to your body. Find this way up through the middle. And then over top, out to the wings. And then just release the crane wings down. As the arms come in, backs of hands face each other. Come up through that space close to your body. Open, way out, all the way to the tips of the fingers, and then just soft, melting, relaxing, releasing. Again, backs of hands, find the way up through that space. All those body parts, joints, and tissue just gliding and sliding unimpeded with each other. So we're getting rid of internal resistance and conflict that shows up when we're in tension. And again, a lot of people are moving with this internal tension and getting away with it, but when you have Parkinson's, that becomes less and less an option, right? Now, wings. Turn your right palm up. As the right hand comes up over top, left hand sweeps down underneath, and we find this position here, the big ball. Top of the ball, bottom of the ball. And now like two magnets attracting, bring high hand down, low hand up. And then two magnets repelling back to the big ball. And then right hand goes out, left hand sweeping. And then we switch. Left hand turn palm up. As it comes up and over, right hand comes under, big ball. Two magnets attract. Two magnets repel around the big ball. Right hand over top, left hand underneath. Magnets attract. Magnets repel around. Asymmetrical movement now, right? So your brain is having to track these opposing movements, not lose track of them, and also keep them timed with each other so that they arrive at these points at the same time. Last one. Out and down. Now, hands coming up, right up under the collarbone here, and straighten your legs as if you're locking them. Turn the palms over, and now the hands sink down. Rather than thinking push down, think sinking, and let the knees bend just a little bit. So what we want is this little sunk quality. Notice that I'm not squatting, but I'm just sinking through the joints and tissue and let the hands completely relax. And then we come up. So the cardinal directions of the chi that they talk about is pung, or rising, on, sinking. Spoken of in elemental terms, fire, the way fire naturally is going up, right? When we see a fire, it's always up. So the fire quality, and then water naturally, by its nature, just finds the low all the way through, all the way out of the body. One more time. Pung and on. Now bring the hands up just around chest height and pull the elbows back a little bit extra. Turn your palms forward. Now, the other two cardinal directions, forward, backward. So G, meaning chi expanding forward. Try to get all the way expanded, and then stay long as you turn your palms to face your body. And then this is called Lu, gliding, sliding back. Turn your palms. G, or forward direction. Hands stay out there, stay long as you turn, and then back. Lu. Turn palms. G, forward. Turn palms. Lu. One more time. G. And Lu. Now, keep your right hand where it is. Turn your left hand to face forward and push with the left. So hold that for a moment. Notice if you allow that to happen, the body does a natural little turn from that middle pivot that we were talking about. So just allow that. Don't force it, just allow it. Turn your left palm to face your body, turn your right palm to face away. Now we've got one drawing back, one pushing forward, and then right hand turns to face the body, left hand turns to face, ready to push. And around the middle, organize this draw and push. And then change, change, and one draw, one push. Eventually you try to do the hands simultaneous, so it's hands, right? That can be a little tricky at first. One draw, one push. Hands, simultaneous change. And then one draw, one push. It's called repel the monkey in Tai Chi. This is usually done walking backwards, right? We're not doing that now, but we work on the backwards walk on the Monday class, and then sometimes we put it all together. Draw and push. And then with a similar quality, we do what's called changing palm. So now this far away hand, turn it like so. So this is kind of an unclear position. I'm still on the center line and the arm is fully extended, right? Then this hand, instead of being here, bring it close to your collarbone with the pinky side facing forward. Now, your low hand is going to come back and your top hand is going to pass right over it and press forward. So now I'm leading through here, which is different than when I was pushing like this, leading through a different edge, changes structurally and tissue-wise what's happening. Now that right hand that's far away, scoop it. The hand that's close to your body, bring it above. It's still close to your collarbone. And then it's called changing palm. Now the left hand fully extends through that pinky side. Right hand is close, right on the midline. And then scooping, raising up, and then changing palm. Scooping, coming up, changing palm. Eventually we go for that simultaneous. As I'm scooping, I'm turning this hand here, ready, and then it just flows right through. scoop, rise. Just letting the body turn, letting what they call the Shen Fa, or the body technique, right? Noticing that I'm not frozen and just doing something with my hands. The whole organism is changing. The hips are changing, the torso is changing, the shoulder blades, all the vertebrae of the spine. So these movements induce a loosening up of these deep mechanisms. And then both hands back, down, and wing, roll, fold, sink, hands to the belly button level, stay there, and turn the hands like so. So notice that I'm not straight up and down, nor am I straight this way. It's a mixture of both. It's kind of a gentle cradling quality. And according to the Taoist practice, this assists us finding our middle, refilling our battery. The hands kind of appropriately here. Now, cross and release down. From this same middle, shift your weight more to your right leg and just stay there for a moment. And make sure you don't lock the knee like we talked about before. Bendable. That doesn't mean bend your knee. It's saying let it be bendable. So that means open, means relax. And then change. So now you go over to your left leg. Let that leg be bendable. As 100% goes here, feel how this leg is actually free. And then from your middle, change. Feel how as you go 100% here, this is now free. So the term in Tai Chi is being double weighted. Double weighted means I could be stuck and holding on, and I could lift this leg, but I'm still double weighted because I'm stuck and I'm tense everywhere. What we're looking for is this change, this qualitative change of let this do all the work so that this is light as the arm. It's free, it's loose, right? That's what we're looking for. And then we change. So now this is doing all the work, so this is now loose. Call that separate, empty, and full. So now we've got this lateral change of left to right. Now stay in your right leg. From your middle pivot, turn a little bit. Turn a little bit. Take your hands over to that side. So think of this like a wind-up toy. You've now loaded up. You've shifted, you've turned, and your hands are over here with some dynamic tension, kind of like a piece of elastic over here, right? Now, from there, shift into your left leg, turn from your middle pivot, and then sweep those hands across to the other side. Now your right leg should be emptier. Your body is turned the other way, and you're loaded up and twisted up here. And then you go shifting, turning, brush and sweep. And again, shift and turn, brush and sweep. So this is just a very important, simple movement, seemingly simple, but it's forcing you to find all the components that we need in Tai Chi. Because a lot of times we're not quite as comfortable turning and shifting one way as we are the other. And so we don't want to be doing a bunch of complex movement while we're just trying to find, can I turn to the right? Can I shift into the right? And then can I comfortably shift and turn back? It's called the bear washes paws in the stream. So once you start to get that feeling, you don't rush, but you flow. You flow. So now there's this brush knee, sweep the hand. Brush, sweep. Now the bear swats the jumping fish. So your outside hand comes up a little bit. You've got the brush knee here and the big bear paw. comes across. And then that bear paw drops down into the water as the other hand floats up. And we're going shift, turn, brush, swat the fish. And then the hand comes down, this hand rises up, and we're going shift, turn, brush knee, swat the fish. And then they change. One goes high, one goes low. We're still wound up over here, and then it's shift and turn and brush and swat. So my teacher says, I like it. Make sure everyone's on the bus before the bus leaves. So this hand comes down, this hand comes up. I'm all ready to go here. I'm turned, I'm loaded into this leg. This leg is empty, so it's awaiting me. And then all together, shifting, turning, brushing, swatting. Let's swat at the higher jumping fish now. So same idea. Everyone's on the bus, and the hand a little higher up, like the fish is jumping way above the head. And then as that left hand comes down, the right hand floats up, going the other way, shifting, turning, brush, swat at the high jumping fish. And then you make them change, low to high. We're cultivating our middle, right? It's from the middle that all of this is organized. Shifting, turning, brushing, swatting. One more. Shifting, turning, brushing, swatting. Now a little more complex. Left hand drops down into the water. It stays to your right side. Right arm now. Roll, fold. Now this is called brush knee and push. So shift, turn, bottom hand brush knee, top hand extend or push. They go all the way long, changing position, and then that left hand turns palm up, fold. And then brush knee, push. Now extend, 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 extend. Then left hand's coming down, right hand roll, fold. We're all loaded up, everyone's on the bus. Shifting, turning, brushing, pushing. They flow through. Right hand drops down, left hand turn palm, roll, fold. Make sure everyone's on the bus, and then drop. Extend, 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 extend. Left hand comes down, right hand roll and fold. And then shifting, turning, brushing, extending, extending, extending. Right hand dipping down, left hand roll, fold. Let's do two more each way. Eventually, you just let it flow. So we're opening up pathways so that there's unimpeded, unobstructed flow. And internally, what you want to feel is zero conflict over time. So we're not fighting our own movement. We're out of the way, and then everything just flows, just like a piece of wood flows down a river. It's got that same quality to it. Now, stay in your left leg, right foot empty. Bring the foot a little bit behind you, toes turned out 5 degrees. Change your weight into that right leg and have that bendability quality in the right leg. Right hand sinks down, bend left elbow, and take your left foot and just put it out in front of you, touching the ground very lightly. Very lightly. Golden rooster, standing on one leg. So here we are, golden rooster. Now bring that left foot back, heels touching almost, toes, feet should be equally pointed out, down the feet. Change your weight to your left leg, left hand down, 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 down. Right elbow bend, right foot empty, touch out in front of you. Touch the earth. Golden rooster stands on one leg. And then bring that right foot back. Change the weight to the right leg. Right hand drops down, left elbow bend, left foot out in front. Touch lightly. See if we can flow and get this change. So left foot steps back, no body weight, and then all together, change the weight, drop left hand, raise up right hand, and empty right foot. And then bring that empty right foot back, no body weight, and change. The golden rooster. Change. Now we're going to add the challenge. Change. With this foot empty, can you lift it a little bit off the floor? If you can you chamber it? Can you load it up and stay nice and sturdy down through that right leg? Then bring the left foot down, put it next to you, change sides, left hand goes down, right elbow bends, right foot goes in front. So this is level 1 of this position. And then if you've got this and you're very empty in that toe touching foot, then you can bring it up and float. And then you can bring it down and bring the foot back. Change. Eventually you just down. As the left hand goes down, the right hand and knee lift. And this becomes easier as you practice level 1, right? So Radhika, you notice you're having to pull and come down. So sticking with this level 1 for a little while where you change and you just work on getting empty, because as soon as we do this, we tend to kind of lift ourselves out of our root. So getting this quality of sturdy and connected to the ground, but then eventually it just is available to us, right? And then down. Now come back to the bear washing paws, that first movement. First movement. Change over to your right leg, stay in your right leg, then take your left hand and float it up. So this is again another letter of the alphabet, this shape called ward off, back of hand facing forward, and notice there's space between, so I'm not here, there's some room there. So your left hand, left arm is here. Now, shift to your left leg and turn. So this is called cloud hands. Left hand comes across the sky like a cloud. Right hand sweeps low like a lake, like you're sweeping the lake. Now the cloud hand rains down. The lake hand floats up and becomes a cloud. Now we're shifting to the right leg. Turn. Let those hands come along for the ride from the turning at your middle, and then let the hands continue. Rain and vapor, and then we shift. So that first gesture of changing leg to leg, and then turning from the middle, right? And then the hands. Because too often what happens when people do this is they lead with the hands because that's what they see, and they're not training the shenfa, or the body. So we're here, and we're going, okay, change leg to leg, that's first. Turn from middle pivot like a mannequin, rotating on a little pedestal, and then let the hands flow through because they're loose and light. And then we do it back the other way. So change from right leg to left leg, turn from your middle pivot, cloud lake, rain vapor, shifting. So make sure you shift. So Radhika, notice your weight's in your left leg right now. Change it to your right leg first. That's the first thing that has to happen, is you change into your right leg, then turn from your body, then the hands flow through, and we get to this position. Now everyone's on the bus. First thing to happen is go from your right leg to your left leg. So shift, leg, then turn, then hands, So slow it all the way down to its broken parts. First, just change from left leg to right leg. Notice I haven't turned any bit of me at all. Then I'm turning from the middle. Then the hands go through. So it's like a little sequence of events. Let's do 2 more. Change from right leg to left leg. Turn from your middle pivot. Cloud, lake. Cloud rains down, vapor raises up. Change leg, turn from middle pivot. Cloud, lake. Vapor and rain. Let's do 1 more each side. Cloud, lake. Vapor, rain. Cloud, lake. Vapor, rain. And then wash your paws. Wash your paws. Wash. And then we close our practice, come back to middle with this movement called Sink Chi Wash Organs, which is basically like resetting the natural flow. So tip a little bit into your heels, turn your palms forward and lift the arms up to chest height. Tip a little bit into your toes, sweep the hands around like you're gently gathering something out in front. Tip a little bit into your heels, bringing the hands as if you're bringing something in the upper gate of the mouth to the throat, and then settle to the middle of your feet, hands settle down to this middle belly, and then remember the Tai Chi squat, hip hinge, sink, release the arms, and then stand back to tall. We do that twice more. So it's just kind of a closing gesture. Rock back, open, and lift. Rock forward, sweeping around, palms face up. Rock back, hands coming in the upper. Settle to the middle of the feet as the hands settle to the middle of the belly. And then it's hip hinge back, hollow the chest area, sink, and let everything flow through the earth. Come back up with nothing extra. So Alex, yeah, notice Alex, your hands were here. When we come up, we want them totally relaxed. Drop your arms. Let's do 1 more. Back, open, and lift. Tip gently forward, sweeping around, sort of gathering gesture. Rock back, a guiding in gesture. Settle to the middle of your feet, hands settling to that middle. And then finally, this hollowing of the front. So this opening of the back. Right, you see that little gesture here? All it takes is just a little bit of that, and suddenly the whole body can sink into this Tai Chi squat. And then we rise and stand. And then this final closing. Wing, roll palms up, fold over top, a consolidating gesture. And then a settling, 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 settling. Remember that middle embrace little movement we do right here. Gentle scoop. Right, so see that change in my hands there, yeah. Just a little below the navel. So this is where they say is like our storehouse, our energy battery. And then we seal the practice, so the belly button here, one hand, other hand. Close the eyes if you can, and just take about 5-7 breaths, very relaxed. Now, if balance doesn't permit eyes closed, just keep them softly gazing. And the visualization of what the sort of poetic idea is that our chi, our life force that we just activated and circulated and awakened, now we're allowing it to settle and soak in and consolidate. Just a few moments here, being as at ease as you possibly can, which sounds easy. It is not, especially when the nervous system is sort of easily disturbed. So Tai Chi, think of it as a mastery over the neural network that I have watched with people, and I think some of you would even say, there's a way to interface with your nervous system to really settle it, polish it, keep it in a relaxed state. And then we close with this hand position, this hand gesture. Grab, fold. So you see this sort of little yin yang looking symbol. And wow. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. And if there are any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask.